nature, we know that they exist in two forms. They are the unicellular form, and the other one is the multicellular. So what is the difference between them? The primary difference is that unicellular organism, the entire organism is made up of a single cell. So one single cell becomes the entire organism, whereas in multicellular organisms, there will be a group of cells. So there are multiple cells, in fact, millions and millions of cells, depending on the complexity of the organisms. There will be group of cells which form into specialized structures called tissues, organs, and as the complexity increases, they become into organ systems and finally form the organism. So in multicellular, you have millions of cells which form the organism, and in unicellular, you have a single cell that form the organism. Now, when a single cell divides, when this unicellular organism divides, it produces two daughter cells, and each daughter cell becomes one separate organism. So if you want to continue living and if you want to continue the life of a particular unicellular organism, it has to undergo division. So we can say that division is a mode of reproduction here. Okay. Similarly, in multicellular organisms, the cells have to keep on dividing. The each cell keeps on dividing so that the number is maintained. The multicellularity is maintained. So in both cases, if you see, division, cell division is a very, very important concept. Now, whether it is as a part of the reproduction, that is right, the reproduction, or is to maintain the multicellularity nature of the organism. Whatever it is, cell division is the most essential thing in a cell's life. In fact, we say a word called cell cycle. Now, this is an interesting word. The cell cycle actually talks about a sequence of events. It talks about a sequence of events or happenings that happen in a cell's life. In a cell's life, right from the stage the cell is born till the stage it divides in two. So everything right from the stage it is born to it divides and forms new daughter cells. Everything that happens in that cell's life is called as the cell cycle. Okay, so basically what happens in the cell cycle is one, the cell duplicates its genome. Now, when we talk about genome, we're talking about all types of genome. That is essentially, main principally the nuclear and also the organellar genome. That is the one that is included in cytocon and chloroplast and in mitochondria. The second thing that happens to a cell is then it duplicates its constituents. Duplicates its constituents means it duplicates its necessary cell organelles. And when it does, when these two are over, when these two events are done, then finally the third step is it divides to form daughter cells. So before division, you can see that the two precursor events is these two. And all of these events together happen within a cell cycle. So hypothetically, if I say I have this single cell, you can take it whatever you want, prokaryotic cell, eukaryotic cell, whatever. This cell will divide to form two daughter cells. So these are the two daughter cells. So all the events that are happening from this stage, that is from the parent cell, all this as the parent cell, and till they become the daughter cell. So all the events that are here happening, we will put them under the cell cycle. And then each daughter cell will have its own cell cycle. Each daughter cell will have its own cell cycle again to further form daughter cell. Cell cycle is a continuous event and it happens in each and every individual cell. Now, are there exceptions to this? Yes, there are few exceptions. You will see it once again while we're discussing the cell cycle. There are few cells which do not undergo division. In fact, the cell is born, we'll call this as the young cell. Okay, then it becomes into an adult mature cell. It becomes into an adult cell. It carries its function, whatever duty that is assigned it for, and finally it dies. So few cells also undergo this process, whereas few cells, once they become adult, they divide and again restart the entire process. So what are these exceptions? We will see when we go further into the cell cycle. Now, each cell cycle broadly is divided into two phases. The first phase is called as the interphase or the resting phase, and the second phase is called as the M phase or the division. So all the events precursor or that happens before the cell division, they happen in the interphase, and the actual division process occurs in the M phase. Now interphase is the longest phase of the cell cycle, and M phase is known as the shortest phase of the cell. So in the next video, we are going to see by using a cycle as an example, a cell cycle as an example, as to what is an interphase and how many parts is it divided into and what happens in each and every part of the interface, and finally what happens in the M.
For more content, like, share and subscribe to www.i-win.in.